versus the end game. My name is Ray Silva from South Texas Border Sports, as the Sparks look to continue their surprising form. Endgame and Sparks enter the match at 1-1. Endgame trying to be one of the more protagonistic teams here in this league. The Sparks hoping to put their name on the map as well, as the Sparks will make a change. Sparks back to serve. The music playing in the background does not belong to me or to TVS. Sparks back to serve. That's going to fall short. It's going to be 2-1 our score. Sparks just trying to fix the end game, winning their last match 2-0 over the Jokers the last time out. The Sparks defeated the Jokers in 3 sets, but each team looking to get on the plus side of 500 today. Sparks using their ball movement right now as one of their strengths, as that falls just in. 3-2 our score, the endgame lead, as the libero subs out and endgame is going to be back to serve. The Sparks get that across. Endgame looking for a kill attack, nothing doing. Sparks moving the ball around. They get it across. Endgame setting up an attack. They barely get that over. Sparks falling on the ball, and that's going to be endgame point, as they call a two-touch violation here. 4-2 our score. Endgame looking to go back to their sweeping ways, and that's an ace right there by the endgame. In case you missed our first match, the Hawks swept the Jokers 2-0, but needed the extra effort out there today to get their win. Endgame happy to get that across. Sparks with the free ball opportunity. Sparks try to get that over, and that's going to be endgame point, as the endgame take a 6-2 lead. Endgame trying to follow it up here. And that's going to be a point to the end game right there, as they find a kill right there down the center. Back to serve as end game, as they find, and the Sparks get a point right there as they catch the end game off guard. Sparks with the substitution, and the libero checks in for the end game. Both teams are a high volume substitution team, as the Sparks get the serve across, and that's going to be an ace for the Sparks. 7-4 our score now. Both teams enter the match at 500. Each team, the Sparks needed 3 sets in their victory while getting swept in the other one. However, the end game dropped their first game via 3 sets and swept the Jokers last weekend. Following the conclusion of this game, we will bring you a third game, which will feature the end game versus the Daredevils. The Daredevils, one of the other 2 undefeated teams in this league so far, as well as with the Hawks. That serve is going to go out of bounds. It is 9-5 our score here. Fidel on the ones, and another change has been made for the end game. Fidel on the ones and twos on the scoreboard as he brings us the numerical action, the end game here. Barely get that over. End game here, they're met at the net, and right now they have the back line completely exposed. Should the Sparks decide to attack that, and that's going to be a dump kill right there, that little dump kill technique that they use a lot. It is now 6-9 our score. Sparks are down. Sparks trying to use something here. And that's going to be an attack error there on the Sparks. 6-10 our score. Libero checks in for the Sparks once again as the end game go back to serve. The serve goes out of bounds, and it's going to be point Sparks. If you guys want your commercial played here on Texas Valley Sports, you can call the offices at 956-997-4757 if you want your commercial played in between games here at Texas Valley Sports as the Sparks move the ball around, trying to find it over, and there's going to be a violation on the Sparks, and it's going to be end game point. 11-7 our score, and the end game make a substitution as El Libero goes back to serve. It's not a substitution, but it's a Libero serving. As the ball gets across, end game moving the ball around. They get it over, and that's going to fall in out of bounds. 11-8 our score, and here comes another substitution for the Sparks. Both teams just playing a little game of chess here in the substitution department. The end game with a change, and that's going to go out of bounds, and the Sparks will claim that point. 11-9 our score here in the opening set. End game, get the ball across. Sparks not going away quietly, and they get the kill right there. 12-9 our score. And a substitution for the end game once again, 30 for 1. As the end game continue their other little mind game of their own as they make another sub, and that's going to be an ace right there for the end game. End game moving the ball around. That ball barely makes it across. Sparks with the free ball opportunity to attack. They do so. End game just trying to get it over. They do. Free ball opportunity once again. That's going to be a end game point right there on a violation by the Sparks. Sparks get it across. They move it over. And that's going to be a point Sparks. – 14-10 your score right now. Sparks back to serve. Serve goes across. End game trying to find a way. And that's going to fall inbounds. That's going to be point end game. Back to serve is the end game. End game are up 15-10 here in set number 1. Sparks get that over. And that's going to be point end game as they find a backline cavity to attack right there. Timeout, Sparks. We'll go to a commercial break. Welcome back to the Roni Center here in McAllen, Texas. My name is Ray Silva from South Texas Border Sports. Endgame lead the Sparks 16-10, and the Sparks just took their first time out of set number 1. We want to thank all of our viewers on all of our platforms for following us here today. Sparks get a point off of that one right there. They're back to serve. Sparks looking to get over the 500 mark for the first time this season, as do the end game. And that's going to be point Sparks on the net violation once again. So after the timeout, the Sparks have found a little bit of momentum here. Serve gets across. The end game set it up. They attack and they find a cavity down the middle. It's going to be point end game. And libero checks out as the end game have the serve once again. We want to thank everyone who is watching us here on the Facebook Live. Ball moves around. End game get it across. Sparks with the free ball. They lose the advantage there. End game trying to find an opportunity right there. They attack the middle there, met there. Once again, they'll try to use the outside. That ball barely gets over. And they set it up. They move it across the court. That goes over, but that's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be point end game. 18-10 is our score here in set number 1. And that's going to be short. And that's going to be a point Sparks. You know, last weekend when these two teams played and earned victories, both of them needed, the Sparks only needed 3 sets to get their win, and the end game needed 2 in their only win so far. 14-18 our score. Sparks on a little bit of a run right now. That's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be point end game. Sparks with another change right now. End game back to serve. As the end game circulate the ball at the moment. And that's going to go point Sparks. And Endgame with another change of their own right there. Folks, if you or any of your business friends are looking to get some advertising in, best opportunity is to call 956-997-4757. Ask for Joe to get your commercials played here on Texas Valley Sports today. Endgame with the kill right there to push this match to 15-20. Endgame, one of those teams that when they jump on a big lead, they seem to be a bit complacent at times. But that narrative seems to change early on this year, for this season at least. And that's an attacking error by the Sparks, giving the Endgame their 21st point of the set. Endgame gets the ball over. Sparks looking to create some movement. They get that ball across. Endgame with the free ball opportunity. They attack the middle of the back line and they get the point. Well done there by the Endgame. Endgame looking to get this ball across. That's going to fall short. That's going to be point Sparks. Sparks get that across. And they're just moving it around. Sparks trying to find an opportunity to get it over. They just do. Endgame with excellent ball movement, and they get the kill right there as Cat goes up and finds the cavity there between the two blockers and gets the point right there. Libero continues to serve as the Endgame have the set in sight right there as they get the ball over, and that's going to be an ace. Set point opportunity now for the Endgame as they try to take a 1-0 lead here over the Sparks. Endgame get it over, but that's going to go out of bounds. It is now 27-24. And here comes another sub for the Sparks. Sparks get the serve over. Endgame looking to just get it over. They get it. They barely get it across. Sparks moving the ball around, attacking, and that's going to go in for the point. 18-24 is our score right now. A special shout to Henry Miller out of McAllen, Texas. Sparks moving the ball around. It gets over. Endgame moves the ball around, and Endgame get it across. Sparks with the free ball opportunity there. They just decided to dump it over. Endgame with now a free ball of their own. Try to attack the back line. Nothing doing. Sparks moving the ball around. That's kept alive by the Endgame. Sparks keep this one around. They get it across. Endgame with an opportunity to set it up here. Endgame just having to get it over. Nearly got the point there, and that's going to be the set right there for the Endgame as they take set number 1 here of the match. 25-18 our score. We're going to go to commercial break. as we are now back live here from the Roney Center in McAllen, Texas. Endgame took the first set 25-18 over to Sparks, and that point gets through as the Endgame will pick up the first point here of set number 2. Endgame looking to pick up their second straight sweep victory, as last week they earned the sweep over the Jokers, and now they take a quick 2-0 lead here in set number 2. Endgame, one of the league protagonists year in and year out, and that's going to be an ace right there for the Endgame. It is now 3-0 as the Endgame look to build and construct a healthy lead here. Serve gets across. Sparks trying to move the ball around, but it's the Endgame who have the initiative. Sparks once again trying to create a little offense here, but nothing doing. Endgame move the ball around. They tap that over, nothing doing. Sparks trying to attack the back line, finding nobody there. Endgame moves, circulates the ball pretty well, and that's going to be another point for the Endgame as they quickly move up 4-0 as they're already up a set 1-0. And that's going to be an ace. Endgame taking a quick 5-0 lead right out of the chute. Endgame over the line. And that's going to be another point for the Endgame as they've opened up this set on fire, taking a 6-0 lead. Endgame trying to get on that plus side of 500 today with the win. They get that service over, and that's going to be another ace. 7-0 to score, and the Sparks will take a timeout. We're going to take one with you. We'll be back. As the Endgame earned their 8th point of the set here. Sparks are down to one timeout now left in the set. Endgame back to serve. They get it across, and they find a way to get that over. The Endgame with the free ball. They find a space there, and they get that over, and that's going to go out. That's going to be a 9-0 lead for the Endgame. Folks, if you need a commercial for your business, TVS is an option available, as you can call 997-54757 and ask for Joe for your commercial to be played here on Texas Valley Sports. As the Sparks finally get a point here, snapped a 9-point run of the Endgame as they try to build a run of their own. Sparks trying to find a point here as they set it up. They get it across. Endgame trying to follow up suit here, trying to get their 10th of the set here. And that's going to be a miscommunication error by the Sparks as the endgame have taken a 10-1 lead. We remind you that we have 4 more matches after this today, as the endgame will come back and they will play the Daredevils, one of the other undefeated teams in this league. Endgame moving the ball around. They're going to circulate the ball, and it's going to be a 2-touch error. It's going to be Sparks point. 10-2 our score at the moment. Ball gets across. Endgame trying to circulate, nothing doing. And they're just moving across, and that's going to go out of bounds. 11-2 is our score now. Libero's going to check out for the end game as they bring in a big middle blocker. Number 44 with the serve, that's going to fall short, and it's going to be point Sparks. Libero will check back in. Endgame get that ball across. Sparks trying to generate some action, as that's going to fall right in front of an Endgame player to make it an 11-4 ball game. Endgame get it over, and that's going to be point Endgame. Endgame making another substitution. Sparks trying to keep that ball alive. That gets over. Moving the ball around does nothing. That's going to be a kill by the Sparks. 5-12 already our score here. There's going to be another substitution by the Sparks here. The Sparks are looking to get over the 500 mark today. What they win, but they have their work cut out for them here, as they're already down a set and down by 7 here in set number 2. And the miscue right there by the Sparks nearly cost them. But they'll get the point right there as Endgame commit a miscue of their own. Sparks with a great serve there. Endgame attack falls a little short. And now the Sparks are starting to get a little bit of a momentum push here. Ball gets across. And the Sparks find a way to get it over. And that's going to be a kill there for the Sparks, as they've now gotten a little bit of a run of their own. And now the Endgame are going to take a timeout. We'll be right back and take one with you. As we are back from commercial break, the end game put a little put a stop to the Sparks run right now. Each team has a timeout left now. Sparks trying to continue with the momentum that they had just built after going on that big run now. Endgame get it over. Sparks as well. Endgame circulating the ball, trying to formulate an attack. Nothing doing. Sparks happy to punch it over. That's going to be out of bounds. That's going to be Endgame point. 14-8 our score here in set number 2 as Endgame get the serve, goes over. Sparks moving the ball around. They attack, and that's going to go out of bounds. 15-8 our score. And that's going to be a miscue there by the Sparks as the Endgame have found their groove back a little bit as they're now on a little 3-point run of their own. Endgame getting it across. Sparks trying to find an attack. They just get that over. Endgame will need just to punch this over. They do. Sparks with the free ball. Nothing doing. A tip shot. Nothing doing. Endgame setting it up. They're met at the net. Endgame once again with an attack. They attack the back line. Nothing doing. Sparks trying to get something out of it. Nothing doing. Endgame get it across, and they're going to get the kill. 17-8 our score now. Endgame get the serve across. Sparks move the ball around. As the Endgame circulate the ball around in the back of the line and decide to attack the Sparks back line. Nothing doing. Endgame circulating the ball, making their move just right across over the net. Sparks with the free ball opportunity. Attack. Ball short. Point. Endgame. 18-8 our score at the moment. And the Sparks are going to take their second time out of the set. We'll be right back. We'll go to commercial break. As we are back from commercial break, Endgame took the timeout. Endgame looking to close out this match and try to get their second straight sweep of the season to push their record to 2-1. But the Sparks have plenty of fight left in them, and as they're going to get that point right there, it's going to be 9-18. Sparks with the change as their libero goes back out to serve. Ball is back, goes up, over. Endgame trying to find their point right there across the court, and that's going to be point end game. 19-9, and the end game make another substitution, putting their middle blocker getting ready to make their moves. End game with the serve now. That's going to fall short. That's going to be 19-10. Sparks back to serve. They get it across. Endgame trying to make an attack out of it. That's going to be an ace for the Sparks right there. The Endgame find a point right there after that Sparks serve. It is now 20-11. And another substitution by the Endgame. Endgame moving the ball around, trying to set it up here. Sparks, it's their turn to set it up. And that's going to be point Endgame, as there is a net violation on the Sparks. 21-11 our score here at the Rodney Center, McAllen, Texas. The attack goes up, over, and that's going to be point Endgame. Sorry guys, a little bit of an allergy issue going on with me as the Endgame get their 23rd point of the game. Looking to close us out now as the Endgame want to pick up their second straight sweep and second straight victory of the campaign, as there is a two-touch violation there by the Sparks, as it is now match point for the Endgame. Coming up after this one, it's going to be the Endgame and Daredevils to get you ready for the buffet of menu. It's going to be an ace, match over, game over. Endgame improved to 2-1 as the Sparks fall to 1-2. We'll end this transmission. We'll be back in a little bit to set up the next transmission between the Endgame and the Daredevils.